Clark is out of the lineup for this game. Who's going in?
That's not determined yet. Then you're making some guesses by which are not necessarily determined. And any guessing of what our personnel is, and if it were to come on out, I'd be very tempted to make sure that we don't disclose it, and so I would opt to use the CFL's rules and regulations and let practice be close. One advantage we have is we have some healthy bodies, and we're going to line up and play this thing the best we can with 42 athletes coming out on the field, and when they take the field, that's when we will declare. We get to declare 1 hour before kickoff, and I think it's to our advantage.
Tom, a lot of distractions. I mean, player personnel aside, a published report about this perhaps being your last game as the head coach of the Calgary Stampeders. What's your response to that?
I have no response because this is not our last game. We win this football game, I get to go and do another one, and it is nothing but a distraction as far as I'm concerned. I get to coach here as long as I'm told that I can be around, and it's absolutely something that's outside my control, and it is exactly that. It's a distraction. I'm not sure why anybody would want to be talking about me when we got a football game to play.
And I mean, players read stuff like this. Did you address it with the players and try?
Not at all, because again, I tell them, you choose to read. If you choose not to, that's fine. Don't believe what you read in the newspaper. It's someone's opinion, and there's always some fact, and it could be the case, and whether it is or whether it isn't, I'm absolutely no concern whatsoever.
Everybody worried the players' heads might be kind of devoted, unsure about things for next year while they're trying to wrap up this year in 3 weeks or whatever it is?
Nope. It's something that we deal with, and the mental approach of this football game is left up to us and how we deal with it in our locker room. And I'm very, very pleased so far with day one, at what we said the focus needed to be, where people's expectations are of us and where our own expectations are. And I couldn't be happier taking this football team on the road and playing a playoff game. There's 2 other teams that are now no longer playing. There's 6 teams vying for the championship. We happen to be one of them, albeit the worst record of the group, but we have a 0-0 record going into the playoffs as far as I know.
Do you see any similarities between this team right now and the team in 2001 that went into the playoffs under 500 and then basically caught fire and had the quarterback going on all cylinders? Or is there any similarity whatsoever? Can you draw on that?
Well, yeah, I don't like to draw on it because I was on the receiving end of the 2001. We were in first place in Edmonton, and a team come on up to play us and turned us every which way but loose. There's some advantages to being in third because you're a little bit more relaxed. There's not as much pressure that's on you, and why should there be any pressure on the football team? No one expects it to do anything, so I said go on out and play like you're having fun.
How about Henry? How's his mood and emotion? He's been, on the sidelines a little bit. He's an excitable guy, likes to go in there. You have to sort of rein him in a little bit there.
No, so far so good. I was going to make a joke, but I know I'm not any good with jokes. So Henry's ready to go, and he's obviously excited to be out on the field. Tomorrow we'll put some noise on over the PA, and knowing that it could be a very noisy game in Regina, or hey, if we get the opportunity to play afterwards, it'll be noisy there as well. So it's one thing that we actually worked on through the second half of the football season, so that way we feel we can deal with any kind of adversity, particularly noise adversity.
Tom, I know that you might refute this 3-year plan, but is there a sense that after 3 years here this year, a loss may mean that it just wasn't working? Is it time for drastic change? The approach need to be different?
Well, that's another way in which to look at it. You know what? No, it's way too early to be talking about anything other than the football game. That becomes a distraction. If a player is worried about anything else other than playing on Sunday, then it's a distraction. And so it's our job as a coaching staff to try to minimize the distractions the best we can and move forward.
Is the sense out there, is it all business? Are they a loose group? You mentioned it, but just give me a sense, I guess, of the pulse of the men, if you will.
Well, at the end, Julian Battle happened to have a birthday, and he pleaded his case that he was born in July, and that wasn't going to wash with the athletes. And they seemed very relaxed. They seemed confident. They liked each other as far as the whole football season was concerned. Had very few challenges as far as offense, defense, and/or special teams, and it is now showing that you know what. throw all caution into the wind, line up, play, and see what happens.
You relish the underdog label?
Absolutely, why not? If you're whatever the role that you have to assume, you might as well relish it.